Well, here we are. We're going to have a look at our last resurrection encounter with Jesus, transformational encounter. I'm going to read from John 21, verses 1 through to 19. Afterwards, Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Galilee. It happened this way. Simon Peter, Thomas, also known as Didymus, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, 2 other disciples were together. I'm going out to fish, said Simon Peter. And the rest of them said, we'll go with you. So they went out, got into the boat. But that night they caught nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize that it was Jesus. He called out to them, friends, haven't you any fish? No, they answered. He said, throw your net on the right side of the boat and you will find some. When they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the large number of fish. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, it is the Lord. And as soon as Simon Peter heard him say it, it is the Lord, he wrapped his outer garment around him and jumped into the water. The other disciples followed in the boat, towing the net full of fish, for they were not far from the shore, about 100 meters. When they landed, they saw a fire of burning coals there with fish on it and some bread. Jesus said to them, bring some of the fish you've just caught. So Simon Peter climbed back into the boat and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153. But even with so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, come and have breakfast. None of the disciples dared ask him, who are you? They knew it was the Lord. Jesus came, took bread and gave it to them and did the same with the fish. This was now the 3rd time that Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said, you know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my lambs. And Jesus said again, Simon, son of John, do you love me? He answered, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said, take care of my sheep. The 3rd time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the 3rd time, do you love me? He said, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my sheep. Very truly, I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourselves where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands. Someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go. Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, follow me. Well, we spent time with the resurrected Jesus and the encounters he had with his disciples. We've seen such great transformation. Sadness to joy, confusion to understanding, fear to peace, doubt to belief. One person who Jesus hasn't met up with yet is Simon Peter, and we're going to spend a bit of time with that today. We've heard that reading. Normally Simon Peter is the first. He was the first to enter the tomb. He was the first at the Last Supper to declare that he would stand with Jesus, even if it meant his own death. All the way through the Gospel accounts, Peter's the first. But here, he's standing at the back. Here, he's not the first. When Jesus appears in the room, I wonder if he's at the back of the group. If he can't catch Jesus' eye. I wonder if things are really awkward. His joy at seeing Jesus overshadowed by the guilt and the failure, hearing over and over again his denial. Tears never too far away. But Jesus longs to bring transformation to Peter too. And so John tells us this great story. The disciples return to what they know, what they're good at, fishing. They fish all night, catch nothing, and then a stranger on the shore, does this sound familiar, cries out, tells them to try the other side of the boat. And they get a miraculous amount of fish. reminds us, of course, of the story of Peter's call when a very similar thing happened. And the penny drops. Peter realizes it's the Lord, and he jumps out, gets to shore, and finds Jesus cooking. I guess there was another awkward moment, perhaps until the rest of the followers arrive and Jesus serves them all with food. Cooked breakfast, served by the one who flung stars into space. After the meal, Jesus speaks to Peter. Peter, having denied Jesus 3 times, so aggressively and horrible, is met by Jesus, who restores him gently and graciously 3 times. Peter, do you love me? Each time Peter affirmed his love, Jesus reaffirms Peter's call, well then feed my sheep. For Jesus, the forgiveness he offers, the mercy he offers is complete. It's not the human kind of forgiveness. I'll forgive, but I won't forget. Peter's guilt and failure and shame was transformed into a fresh calling, into a new start. A clear message to Peter that he still belonged to Jesus. Jesus still had great things for him to do. So what about us? Are we still holding to some guilt or failure or shame from our past? Do we need a fresh encounter with the risen Jesus? Is it time to allow Jesus to come to us and offer us full and free forgiveness? Is it time for us to allow Jesus to swap our shame and our failure for his beautiful resurrection-powered grace and mercy? And is it time for us to hear those words? Follow me. May God bless us as we think about these resurrection accounts. Amen.
Full of grief like Mary, loss and sadness all I see. May you meet me in the garden, plant your hope and joy in me. Plant your hope and joy in me. As I walk toward Emmaus, confusion overwhelming me. May you meet me on my journey. Speak your truth so I can see. Speak your truth so I can see. May your resurrection power transform our fallen ways. May we know you're risen now, the work of Christ to save. We know everything was changed when you burst out from the grave. We long to know your resurrection power. We long to know your resurrection power. As I doubt and fear like Thomas, will the questions ever cease? May you meet me where I am now. Fill me with new faith and peace. Fill me with new faith and peace. As I fall like Simon Peter, deny and fail you to my shame, may you meet me with your mercy, so that I can start again, so that I can start again. May your resurrection power transform our fallen ways. May we know you're risen now, the work of Christ to save. We know everything was changed when you burst out from the grave. We long to know your resurrection power. We long to know your resurrection power. have met us in our need now. We must live our lives for